Certainly. Below is a detailed narrative of the chilling story of John Wayne Gacy, one of America's most infamous serial killers, known as the Killer Clown, for his dual life as a charismatic community figure and a remorseless murderer. The monster behind the smile. The John Wayne Gacy story. Prologue. The Friendly Clown. In the quiet suburbs of Chicago during the 1970s, John Wayne Gacy was a man of contradictions. To his neighbors, he was a pillar of the community, a successful contractor, a Democratic precinct captain, and a jovial clown named Pogo, who entertained children at parties and charity events. But behind closed doors, Gacy harbored a grotesque secret. By the time his crimes were uncovered, he had raped, tortured, and murdered at least 33 young men and boys, burying most beneath his house. Act I. A troubled beginning. Gacy's descent into darkness began long before his killing spree. Born in 1942 in Chicago, he grew up under the shadow of an abusive, alcoholic father who belittled him as weak and worthless. As a teenager, Gacy suffered a head injury that caused blood clots, but his father dismissed his pain, deepening his resentment. By his 20s, Gacy seemed to crave validation. He married a co-worker, Marlon Myers, and moved to Iowa to manage a fast food franchise. But in 1968, his mask slipped. He was convicted of sexually assaulting 2 teenage boys, sentenced to 10 years in prison. He vowed to his wife, "You'll never see me again." She divorced him, and Gacy's hatred festered. Paroled in 1970 for good behavior, he returned to Chicago, remarried, and began rebuilding his life, this time with a sinister agenda. Act 2. The Charade of Normalcy. Gacy's second wife, Carol Hoff, knew nothing of his past. To the outside world, he was a doting stepfather, a hard-working contractor, and a political insider who rubbed shoulders with Chicago's elite, even posing for a photo with First Lady Rosalynn Carter in 1978. But his public persona hid a depraved double life. Gacy lured vulnerable young men, many of them runaways, sex workers or drifters, to his home in Norwood Park, Illinois, with promises of cash, drugs, or construction jobs. Once inside, he would handcuff them with a fake magic trick, then rape and torture them. His signature method, the rope trick. Gacy would loop a rope around their necks, twist it with a stick, and strangle them while assaulting them. He later confessed, "You know, a clown can get away with murder." Act 3. The House of Horrors. Gacy's victims disappeared quietly at first, but in December 1978, the disappearance of 15-year-old Robert Pius triggered a massive investigation. Pius had last been seen leaving a pharmacy where Gacy, posing as a contractor, had offered him a job. Police obtained a search warrant for Gacy's home. What they found was beyond comprehension. The crawl space beneath his house reeked of decay. Shoveling through the dirt, officers uncovered 29 bodies, many piled atop one another. 4 more victims were dumped in nearby rivers. In his closet, officers found handcuffs, pornography, and a blood-stained torture board with straps. Gacy was arrested and shockingly candid during interrogations. He claimed his victims wanted to die and boasted, "I'm the Cook County Sheriff. You'll never prove anything." Act 4. The Trial and Execution. At his 1980 trial, Gacy's defense argued insanity, citing brain damage from childhood injuries. But prosecutors painted him as a calculating predator. Survivors testified about his torture methods, and forensic experts detailed how he'd buried victims in lime to speed decomposition. The jury deliberated for just 2 hours before convicting him of 33 murders. Sentenced to death, Gacy spent 14 years on death row, painting clowns and Disney characters in his cell. On May 10, 1994, he was executed by lethal injection. His final words, "Kiss my ass." Epilogue. The Legacy of Terror. Gacy's crimes left an indelible scar. The victims, most were teenagers, like John Butkovich, 17, and William Kindred, 19, whose families endured decades of grief. 9 victims remain unidentified. Cultural impact. Gacy's clown persona fueled a nationwide fear of clowns, inspiring horror film and true crime documentaries. Forensic advances. His case revolutionized how law enforcement handles missing persons and serial killers. emphasizing cross-jurisdictional cooperation. To this day, Gacy's house, since demolished, remains a grim landmark. As one detective noted, he didn't just kill those boys. He buried the truth under a mountain of lies and a clown's smile. Gacy's story is a harrowing reminder of the banality of evil, how a man could host neighborhood barbecues, charm politicians, and clown for children, all while hiding unimaginable horrors beneath his feet.